Hello there and welcome to IronPort. It is proudly brought to you by West Blue Consulting, Ghana Oil Company Limited and Ghana Community Network Services. Media partner is a Business and Financial Times, and this week we are starting off from Tecate Port, where the Director General of the Port Authority of this country has engaged staff and management of the Port of Tecate to share his vision and also engage them on how far the port has come thus far. The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Paul Asariansa, has engaged staff of the Port of Tecate at a Durban and assured them of job security as the port goes through massive transformation. The Durban provided a platform for the Director General and management of the Port Authority to share their vision to the staff as well as address some challenges, if any. According to Paul Asariansa, the capacities of both the TEMA and Tecate ports are being expanded to support the national economy.
Ghana is likely to become the fastest growing economy in the world. And without a competent, efficient port, such growth is not possible. And so I believe that the port industry is fulfilling its mandate for which it was established.
The GPHA boss said the port's activities would be diversified to accelerate the growth of export, transit and transshipment. The Director General said the Port Authority is investing in oil and gas infrastructure in both TEMA and Tecate ports to turn Ghana into an oil and gas hub in the Western Central Africa sub-region.
Already we have had strong interest being expressed by Niger and Burkina Faso for the establishment of tank farms to accommodate fuel that would be evacuated to Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso. Port of Cotonou is very strong as an oil and gas hub for Niger. I will take that status away from them.
Paul Asariansa said he is optimistic that the trade deficit between export and import would be addressed so as to rake in the necessary revenue for the state.
Some critical interventions have to be rolled out to make sure that we balance our trade between imports and exports. That is how the economy can be sustained, because the rate of consumption of foreign imports compared to the rate of exports cannot sustain any economy.
He said measures are in place to have cruise and passenger terminals developed to attract tourism to the ports. He said the construction of the new TAKORADI road, which had been in a deplorable state for a long time, has gone a long way to facilitate the movement of people and traffic from the port to their destinations.
I was very happy when I saw the new state of that road, which will go a long way to facilitate movement of people and traffic from the ports to other places that they are designated to go.
He said GPHA's 30% shares in Meridian Port Services has been restored after it was changed to 15%. Away from that Durban, by the Director General of the Port Authority, a company called BELMET 7 has begun the construction of offshore gas jumper. Now this is supposed to make the Tecate port there become the oil and gas hub within the Western Central Africa.
The Port of Tecate continues to take giant steps towards achieving its quest of becoming the dominant oil and gas services hub in the West African region. This follows the fabrication of the first offshore gas jumper to aid the activities of the oil and gas industry by BELMET 7. The offshore gas jumper will be used to transfer gas from the oil fields. BELMET 7 is a fabrication company in the construction industry for oil and gas with projects in Sekindi Tecate. In 2016, an export gas manifold and a suction pile were constructed at the Tecate Port Fabrication Yard for Tullow Oil Ghana Limited. The general manager of BELMET 7 said the fabrication of the offshore gas jumper was successfully done wholly by Ghanaian welders, which took 3 weeks to complete without any injury.
Otherwise, it should have been imported. But we were able to convince the client, and with the success story of BELMET 7, to let them know that this can be constructed here.
The oil and gas manager of Tecate Port, Captain Daniel Ni Anankorte, said management is redeveloping the Tecate Port to reposition itself to offer goods and services for the oil and gas industry.
What this means to Tecate Port is when stakeholders enter the Tecate Port oil and gas hub, they have whatever they need to work offshore in the upstream oil and gas industry, which is interfacing the downstream.
He said the equipment would have been imported if it hadn't been fabricated in Ghana, and advised stakeholders who are into the oil and gas production to source services from the Tecate Port.
It's the first time we have been doing this type of fabrication here inside TAKORADI port at BELMET 7 yard. It's the first time also we welded this type of steel because it's a special alloy. The inside of the pipe is made of stainless steel, while the outside is carbon steel. So it's very specific welding, which was executed 100% by Ghanaian welders working permanently for BELMET 7.
So with all those construction works going on at the port of Takoradi, that port has held its safety week for this year 2018.
The Port of Takoradi has held a safety week to outdoor a safety orientation card. This is to abreast workers and visitors of safety tips in order to minimize accidents. The event was attended by personnel of all companies who operate in the Takoradi port. The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority is ISO certified, which has resulted in workers embracing safety standards in relation to occupational and health safety. This aids in the monitoring and improving on Port of Takoradi's processes and solutions to meet or exceed requirements of its business.
We need to work with standards. We need to improve our system. We need to give quality service to our customers, ensuring hazardous activities and identify significant risks to both people and environment are adequately controlled.
The Corporate Monitoring and Control Manager of GPHA, Gavin Amavi, said the Port Authority is committed to creating a safe environment for all persons who transact business at the port. He stressed the need for all port workers to comply with safety standards so as to reduce accidents.
Tell you that we'll be engaging a lot of contractors. The cleaning contractors, those who have been given an assignment, the port has outsourced. We'll be sitting with those people to make sure they live up to standard.
The Harbour Master and Port Facility Security Officer for Tecate Port, Captain James Richmond Quaison, said the authority places high premium on the safety of all workers and stakeholders who do business at the port. He added that being safety conscious will bring benefits to individuals, stakeholders and company as a whole.
We believe that our workers, our stakeholders and everybody that comes to the port should be safe to do their business and to carry on their activities in a safe and healthy environment that will bring benefits.
The Port Fire and Safety Manager of Tecate Port, Edward Evans Heyman, said his outfit would ensure that safety activities work to create a healthy environment.
We have to have the mindset of working safety, behaving safety, ensure that we are safe from incident, accident, injury and damages in the port.
So let's continue to stay in the port of Takoradi for a while, and as we talk about health, safety and environment in that port, there's a company also called ZEAL Environmental. They are ensuring that every part and corner of the Takoradi port is very clean and environmentally friendly. Already it's in the Takoradi port that you can see live fish swimming in the sea where the vessels are, and even while the oil and construction works and everything going on, you can see or still have live fish swimming in there. Very clean waters they have there, and ZEAL Environmental is making that happen. ZEAL Environmental says it is committed to enhancing the face of Takoradi Port in waste management. The partnership between ZEAL Environmental and Takoradi Port is currently yielding great results following an establishment of a port reception facility at the port of Takoradi to manage waste from vessels. ZEAL Environment has been managing oil wastewater in the port of Takoradi in line with the MAPO Convention, where vessels are banned from dumping waste of any kind into the sea.
GPHA has given us the license to manage all the annexes for the MAPO 73, 78 treaty for them. And this is one of the annexes, that is oily waste, sludge, bilge water that we do take from vessels that berth at GPHA. That's how we, where we treat it and where we manage it.
The Takoradi Port entered into agreement with ZEAL Environmental Technologies to ensure that its marine environment is not polluted. Having obtained the International Standardization Certification ISO, Takoradi Port has a policy of zero tolerance for pollution from vessels calling its waters. General Manager of ZEAL Environmental, Wilfred Johnson, said the facility allows oily sledged water to be taken from vessels that come to berth at the ports and discharged into a 32,000-litre pond where the waste is segmented into three parts: oil, water and solid.
We skim the oil into tank 21 and tank 20, and we use the oil for to fire boiler systems and then also as solugram preparation. So companies approved by EPA lift this oil for those purposes. The sludge goes through bioremediation, and then the water goes through this plant here for treatment and discharge.
He said they also have a facility to crush empty can containers, drinking cans, paint cans, waste generated by seagoing vessels, and so on.
You can see Milo tins and so forth, that vessels that come to the Takoradi Port, they segregate, and when we take them, we crush them together with the drums. We crush them together with the drums, and then the recycler, like ferrofabrics, will pick this and use as raw materials. We have to crush it because when you send the drum wholly like this, they can reuse it for something else, to distill appetition, to store water and so forth. And we don't want any liability to ZEAL and then to GPHA and then also to the vessels.
He said ZEAL Environment also has equipment that cleans tank at tank at the tank farms in the port of Takoradi through an automated means.
These are the nozzles that we use to wash the tank, and they are all automated. And you don't have to send anyone in. You just fit these nozzles at the opening of the tank, and then it will be doing the washing with someone sitting here operating those nozzles. These nozzles can go, it has a camera and it has light. It can go 360 degrees, so it will be washing the tanks like the ones installed at the Takoradi Port.
He further explained that ZEAL Environment offers several services for vessels that call the Takoradi Port in a bid to make the port an environmental friendly place for doing business. The Deputy Marketing and Public Affairs Manager at the Port of Takoradi, Peter Amobediakon, said not only is the Port of Takoradi interested in berthing vessels and facilitating trade, but also to ensure a cleaner environment.
We are also interested or very conscious about the environment. That is why we have partnered or licensed ZEAL Environmental to ensure that as we stimulate the economy of Ghana and the landlocked countries of Niger, Burkina Faso, we do it consciously with the environment in mind.
So as we talk about safety at the port of Takoradi and safety everywhere, particularly at the ports of our country, unfortunately, at the port of TEMA, some very disastrous event has taken place, and that's a vessel called MT Alice. Unfortunately, that entire oil vessel has broken into two. It's splitted at the anchorage of the port of TEMA. Not a very good scene. Fortunately, though, no casualties, but it was a bizarre incident.
An oil tanker vessel, MT Alice, which is loaded with 1,200 metric tons of light crude oil, has split at the TEMA port anchorage. The vessel divided into two halves, with the stern drifting towards fairway and the TEMA harbour entrance of the TEMA port, while the bow remained at the same location due to the weight of the anchor.
Within some hours, then the vessel splitted into two. It is an oil tanker. Once the stern drifted away from the bowl. So virtually we were able to pull the stern to out of danger so that it will affect other vessels.
The Bahamas registered oil tanker called the anchorage of the TEMA port on Saturday, 12th May 2018, with 13 crew made up of 11 Nigerians and 2 Ghanaians. Another vessel, MT Cold Alice, which was nearby, aided in the prompt rescue of the crew without any casualties.
The good news was that a sister vessel was passing, so it was able to rescue the crew.
the TEMA Port Security Manager, Joseph Malik Punamani, who confirmed the accident to IronPort, said, "This is the first time such an accident has been recorded at the anchorage of the TEMA Port or anywhere in Ghanaian waters." He said the prompt response by the GPHA Marine Operations Team and the TEMA Port Security averted an oil spillage at the anchorage.
We are still working around to ensure that there's no much spillage of oil.
The cause of the accidents remains unknown, but unconfirmed reports indicate that it could be due to poor maintenance of the vessel or overload.
So that's very unfortunate story coming from the anchorage of the TEMA Port. That vessel there splitting into two, and so far the Marine Operations Team of the Port Authority have been able to pull both sides of the vessel somewhere quite safe. But let's stay in TEMA Port again. Another unfortunate story. The Ghana Navy, in collaborations with the National Petroleum Authority (NPA) and the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, have been able to arrest some alleged illegal fuel trading at the ports. The Eastern Naval Command of the Ghana Navy has seized the canoe and 3 large fuel tankers that were being used to siphon fuel at the canoe basin at the TEMA fishing harbour. The Navy also arrested at least 3 persons on suspicion of engaging in illegal fuel trade. The arrest was made at about 1 a.m. on Friday, May 25, 2018, following intelligence picked by the Navy that canoe operators and drivers of the trucks were supposedly siphoning fuel into the tankers. Speaking to journalists in TEMA, the Command Operations Officer of the Eastern Naval Command, Commander Isaac Mahamabu, said the Navy on their usual patrols around the canoe basin detected a canoe large storage compartment pumping fuel into a fuel tanker. He said a team of Navy personnel was dispatched to the scene, and on arrival, they discovered that the canoe had connected long hoses to the tanker and was pumping fuel into one of the trucks with 2 other tankers standing by.
It was around 1 a.m. at that time. We felt that it was wrong that you are pumping fuel into from a canoe into a tanker vehicle. There's no arrangement for fire tender. Should there be fire, we don't know what will happen. And the timings that they were doing this pumping, we felt that it was wrong, and so we have to arrest the tankers, and then the canoe, bring the tankers to the base, and the canoe is in the main harbor at our jetty. According to Commander Rabu, it was more worrying for such an activity to be taking place near national installations such as the car power barge, and that the action of the Navy was a preemptive measure to avert any possible disaster from happening. He said the Navy is collaborating with the National Petroleum Authority and the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to conduct further investigations into the act. If you look at the canoe basin, we have a lot of canoes there, very close to each other, and should they be fired, it will just cut through and even spread up to the fishing harbor itself. And the car power ship is also just there, which is a national asset. Meanwhile, the 3 fuel tanker trucks, each with a capacity of up to 8,900 gallons or 33,690 liters, and their respective drivers, as well as the canoe, have been impounded by the Navy for further investigations. So the Ghana Navy says they are not going to leave any stone unturned. They want everybody to stay away from illegal bunkering or illegal fuel activities. And together with the NPA as well as GPHA, they are poised to clamp down on any such unruly activity in and around the ports and maritime industry. Away from that unfortunate incident, there is one good news for another company in the port, and that is IBISTEK. IBISTEK is the company that's going to build the Atlantis terminal in Tecate Port, a multi-purpose on-dock terminal that's going to come off at Tecate Port. The Finance Ministry has finally blessed the contract between IBISTEK and the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority.
The Finance Ministry has officially endorsed a concession agreement with Messrs. IBISTEK for the development and operations of an on-dock multi-purpose terminal at the port of Takoradi. In a letter dated 11th of May 2018 and signed by the Minister of Finance, Ken Oforiatta, the Finance Ministry informed that it endorses a letter from the Public Procurement Authority dated 5th February 2018, which declared that the procurement processes followed by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to grant a concession to Messrs. IBISTEK fully complied with the Public Procurement Act Act 2003, Act 663 as amended. In the letter, the Finance Minister also referenced the previous letter dated 27 December 2017, which requested a suspension of concession agreements with Messrs IBISTEK for the development and operations of the multi-purpose terminal at the port of Takoradi. The letter went further to state that, subsequent to the reference letter, this ministry sought the views of the Public Procurement Authority and the Ministry of Transport regarding the propriety of the procurement processes employed by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority in concessioning the integrated terminal to IBISTEK Limited. Kenoforiata additionally informed both GPHA and IBISTEK that, by the letter from the PPA dated 5th February 2018, the authority declared that the procurement processes fully complied with the Public Procurement Act 2003, Act 663 as amended. He said the Finance Ministry also took notice of the following recommendation contained in the earlier letter from the PPA dated 6th April 2018, advising that we wish to recommend to the Honourable Minister that the capital cost provided by the concessionaire for the port terminal project to be accepted and the suspension on the implementation reconsidered and lifted. The Finance Minister said his outfit has accepted the recommendation of the PPA and will however share a value for money analysis once completed with the parties involved. He further went ahead to advise GPHA to proceed on arrangements with its partner IBISTEK. You can therefore proceed to undertake the necessary actions to give effect to the concession agreement between GPHA and IBISTEK Limited for the development of the on-dock container and multi-purpose terminal project, the Finance Minister said. The on-dock multi-purpose terminal, which will be developed by IBISTEK, will also have a container quay of 16-meter draft capable of accommodating bigger vessels and further make the Tecate Port to become a long-term competitive alternative.
So finally, that project has the blessing of almost everybody, and the Port Authority as well as IBISTEK, they are happy on their way to constructing a very huge terminal at the port of TAKORADI, and very soon we should be seeing project and progress of that work, just as it has happened in TEMA with the MPS project, TEMA Port Expansion Project. IronPort returns after the break.
Hello. Good morning. This is Samantha Wendy. I am sending a purchase order from SA2 Ventures International. Our policy for new supplies is 2 containers to start with, but you must deliver within 30 days.
Don't worry at all. I'm going to get you the 4 containers within 30 days or less. Bye.
To get his pineapple slices from his country to his clients overseas, Mr. Appiah and his representatives have to complete a number of regulatory compliance procedures to various international trade stakeholders.
Hey, Baba, what's going on? Get it right? I mean, how?
Using single window, Mr. Appiah has completed all his international trade procedures through one portal. He has registered his company information, applied for the necessary permit, certificates and licenses, and all that remains is for him to get a text alert for clearance and movement of goods. And that's how simple facilitating international trade could be in a single window environment. You can offer competitive services to your trading partners in China, America, even here in a simpler, faster, and cost-effective way. Single window, the only way to Ghana's economic growth is in our hands.
When cleaning your vehicle by valeting, steaming, waxing, or polishing, make sure the engine is also sound. Servicing your vehicle with Gold Synthetic Oil and any quality Gold Oil massages the engine, removes deposit, protects it from wear and tear for longer lasting performance, and makes your vehicle feel pampered. Made for diesel and super engines. Remember, after every 15,000 kilometers of enjoying your ride, service your engine with Gold Synthetic Oil.
We are a champion. That's why I, Azuma Nelson, 3 times world boxing champion and a patriot, always choose Goil.
Ashene Pankasa. Goil, good energy.
Welcome back from the break. You're still watching IronPort, and building capacity of the folks working in around the port and maritime industry is very, very key to the growth of that sector. And the ANCHORAGE trainers have completed training a lot of Ghanaian Port Authority staff to take over management activities within the port and maritime business. All in news.
"22 GPHA staff have concluded their participation in the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development UNTAC training program with a presentation ceremony and defense of their dissertations. The group of GPHA trainees undertook the fourth cycle of the program from 2016 to 2018, pursuing 8 modules of modern port management. The participants defended their recommendations on contemporary port issues in their presentations, where they were assessed by a jury consisting of port management experts. The UNTAC Port Management Training Program has been a flagship platform for staff and management of GPHA to be trained in effective port management modules. The Director General of GPHA, Paul Asariansa, said the participation in the UNTAC training program only affirms the organization's commitment to capacity building for its staff.
We in GPHA take this opportunity to affirm our commitment to capacity building for our staff.
The UNTAC President, Mark Asaf, appreciated GPHA's pioneering participation in the program and assured to continue conducting efficient training that would ensure the highest productivity in the port industry.
You were the pioneers and taking the leadership, and it's always a pleasure for me to be back in Ghana and accompany you in this progress. Get this more done, this exchange of instructors, in particular in the sub-region, because you have a lot of capacity senior managers that can go and they learn from it. It's a way of seeing also what the others are doing in the region.
He encouraged management of ports in the sub-region to incorporate exchange programs that would inure to the overall success of the sub-region. The director of Dublin Port Company and representative of Irish Aid, John Moore, congratulated the graduates for reaching the highest level of the program. He emphasized the intention of Irish Aid to continue to support the program and urged the trainees to aspire to eventually become not only trained, but trainers as well in the program.
It would be nice to think that some of you will in the future become trainers on this program as well and share your knowledge and experience.
Certificates were handed out to graduates of the program and awards were presented to the best performing participants at the ceremony.
International Port News next.
According to the annual State of Piracy report released by One Earth Futures Oceans Beyond Piracy program, the number of piracy incidents doubled off the coast of East Africa in 2017 compared to 2016. The report analyzes the human and economic impacts of maritime piracy and robbery at sea in the Western Indian Ocean region, the Gulf of Guinea, Asia, and Latin America, as well as the Caribbean. Incidents in this maritime space have posed an additional threat to shipping transiting the Gulf of Aden and the Red Sea. The International Transport Workers Federation (ITF) and Nautilus International are to call for a significant rise in the global minimum wage for seafarers, the only internationally agreed pay floor applied to an entire industry. In June, Nautilus International General Secretary Mark Dickinson will lead the seafarers delegation on behalf of the ITF at talks within the Joint Maritime Commission, an international labor organization standing body that has brought together ship owners and seafarer representatives since 1920. The commission is responsible for setting the global minimum wage for seafarers. Currently, the amount is an equivalent of approximately $614 per month. South Korea is launching a project to develop its liquefied natural gas (LNG) bunkering technology amid anticipated growth in demand for LNG as marine fuel, stemming from the more stringent environmental regulations entering into force in 2020. The country's Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries said that the 2-year project will include an investment of KRW 3 billion this year. About 50 experts from the field are expected to take part in the project, which will be led by the Korean Research Institute of Ships and Ocean Engineering and the Korean Marine Equipment Research Institute. The ministry said that the LNG bunkering is a relatively young industry and that South Korea aims to assume a leading role in the sector.
When cleaning your vehicle by valeting, steaming, waxing or polishing, make sure the engine is also sound. Servicing your vehicle with Gold Synthetic Oil and any quality Gold Oil massages the engine, removes deposit, protects it from wear and tear for longer lasting performance, and makes your vehicle feel pampered. Made for diesel and super engines. Remember, after every 15,000 kilometers of enjoying your ride, service your engine with Gold Synthetic Oil.
We are a champion. That's why I, Azuma Nelson, 3 times world boxing champion and a patriot, always choose Goil.
Ashene Pankasa. Goil, good energy.
Schedules of vessels that are sitting in the port, those coming from the anchorage, also those expected in the coming week. And I must say, we don't hope to see any vessel that will break into 2 in the port. Plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rate are all next on your screen. We always request, if you have any issue dealing with the ports of Ghana, your comments are always welcomed via the addresses that are scrolling beneath the screen there. In the meantime, a number of you want to know the duties of your various vehicles.
Abina Eduse Pokuya says, please, IronPort, I want to know the duty cost of American Ford Edge 2010 model with engine capacity 3.5. Abina, the estimated duty of your car Ford Edge 2010 model is 38,240 Ghana cedis. Fidelia Siao says, hello IronPort, please, what's the duty on the following vehicles whose chassis numbers are as follows? Well, Fidelia, the estimated amount for the first car is 21,300 Ghana cedis and the second car is 23,600 Ghana cedis.
So we have to say a big thank you to Baba Musa of Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority for always helping us get the duty values of those vehicles that we gave to you out there. However, the caution is that by the time you are ready to clear your cars, those may not be the exact values you will be paying for your cars, because a lot of factors may change. This time is today, maybe by next week the exchange rate will look different or something else will look different. So yes, roughly that is what you may be paying. However, be cautious that you may also pay something different. Thank you for watching the program, and thanks as always to the people who make the program happen. Joe Bone, Martin Minta, Lawrence Geze, Belinda Deke, and the executive producers of the program, Madam Abna Sewa Opokufosu, as well as Madam Esther Jebidonko, as well as my own colleague Flavia Akpai. Thanks for watching.